One day, Emperor Shahjahan went out for hunting. While chasing a wounded deer, he rode far ahead of his companions. In his pursuit, he strayed away and completely lost his path. It was the middle of the afternoon. There was no sign of his companions anywhere. No sound of horses, no dust rising in the air. He was all alone. Thirst began to trouble him severely. As he wandered deeper into the forest, his eyes fell upon a large tree. Beneath its cool shade sat a poor shepherd, surrounded by his sheep and goats. The emperor, still dressed in his royal hunting attire, approached the shepherd and asked him for water. The shepherd replied humbly, "O traveler, I had brought water with me, but it is finished. However, I do have milk from my goats. Please accept it." He milked a goat right there and offered it to the emperor. The emperor drank the milk with relief and gratitude. Then, tearing a leaf from a nearby tree, he used the tip of his dagger to write something upon it. Handing it over to the shepherd, he said, "Here, this is your reward. I have granted you 2 villages. On Friday, bring this leaf to the royal mosque in Delhi. Meet me there, and I shall ensure you receive your gift." The shepherd became overjoyed, took the leaf carefully, and returned to his humble hut. He spread his blanket on the ground, placed the leaf on his back as if it were a great treasure, and began tying his goats for the night. But one mischievous goat strayed over, picked up the leaf in its mouth, chewed it, and swallowed it before the shepherd could reach in time. The shepherd was struck with grief. Clutching his head, he cried out, "Alas! This goat has eaten 2 whole villages." Saying this, he abandoned his goats and set off in despair towards Delhi. As he walked along the path under the blazing sun, he kept repeating to himself like a madman, "The goat has eaten 2 villages. The goat has eaten 2 villages." Hours passed, and by the time he reached Delhi, it was already Friday afternoon. He entered the great mosque and saw a sea of worshippers raising their hands in prayer, asking God for their needs. He too raised his hands, but then suddenly thought to himself, "If my king himself is sitting here, asking from Allah, who is the king of all, then why should I not ask directly from him too? If he is able to give Shahjahan, surely he is able to give me as well." So instead of waiting for Shahjahan, he turned back, muttering, "My Lord will give me my share. If he wishes, even a roof may burst open and reward may fall upon me." That evening, weary and hungry, he reached the edge of a jungle. Finding no place to rest, he climbed up a large old tree to spend the night. At midnight, a band of robbers gathered beneath the same tree. They began whispering and planning how they would raid a nearby village. The shepherd overheard everything and called down to them, "O men, stealing is an evil act. Moreover, the villagers you plan to rob are very poor. They possess nothing worth taking. If you truly desire wealth, then dig beneath this very tree. I once heard from my forefathers that a great treasure is buried here." The robbers, curious and greedy, at once took up their spades and began digging. After much effort, they struck something hard and unearthed 2 large sealed pots. With excitement, they opened them. But to their horror, the pots were filled not with treasure, but with snakes and scorpions writhing inside. Terrified and angry, they shouted at the shepherd, "Deceiver! You have mocked us!" They carried the pots towards the village, intending to harm him. Arriving at his hut, they heard his voice inside, praying and muttering to himself. Without a word, they turned the pots upside down in his yard and fled. But lo, instead of snakes, showers of gold coins spilled out from the pots, clinking and scattering across the ground. The noise awoke the villagers, who rushed out in astonishment. The robbers, seeing a crowd gather, fled in fear. The shepherd too rushed out of his hut, and when his eyes fell upon the piles of shining coins, He cried aloud, "O Lord, you are indeed true and faithful. You have given me my reward. You have burst the roof of the heavens for me." The next morning, the royal guards of Shah Jahan also arrived at the village. They brought the shepherd to the emperor's court. With humility, he narrated the entire incident from beginning to end. He concluded, "My king, this is why I did not wait for your reward at the mosque. When I saw you two raising your hands before Allah, the Lord of all, I thought, why should I not ask directly from the one whom even kings beg from? And see, he has given me far more than I expected." Hearing this, Shah Jahan smiled, honored the shepherd with robes and respect, and sent him back to his village with dignity.